In this week's Bleach, family secrets are finally revealed.
私は黒崎正樹クインシーです
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my weekly anime reviews for Bleach's 1000-Year Blood War arc. Today we'll be looking at episode 11, Everything But the Rain. The episode picks up with Renji silently agreeing with Nimaya, who says they both knew Ichigo wasn't going to pass his test. It was impossible without ever having had an Asa Uchi, and now's the time for him to get to know the whereabouts of his soul. Back in the world of the living, Ichigo flees from his home, unable to face his dad, and goes to Miss Ikumi's home to hide out. He's feeling like a failure after being kicked out of the Soul Palace, but maybe his boss can cheer him up.
Drop your coat and grab your toes. I'm gonna show you where the wild goose goes.
Isshin shows up in Shinigami form, and Ichigo agrees to go home with him. Here, Isshin relays to Ichigo that he knows everything that's going on and about his broken Bankai, which clearly can't be fixed in his son's current state. Now is the time for him to tell Ichigo everything. He's not a Shinigami, but no ordinary human either, because his mother was a Quincy.
Say what?
Jump to the Seirei many years ago in the Squad 10 barracks where Lieutenant Rangiku locates her captain, Isshin Shiba, hiding from his duties. He reports back to his 3rd C officer, Hitsugaya, who has reports of Shinigami dying from unknown causes in a city called Naruki. Isshin takes it upon himself to go investigate the situation on his own, leaving the two behind. Meanwhile, a research lab reveals a familiar trio of baddies studying up on holification of Shinigami.
Did you miss me?
Isshin arrives in Naruki, where 2 other Shinigami are on patrol, but we cut to the Ishida household, where a young Masaki Kurosaki is getting chewed out by Mrs. Ishida. She's mad at Masaki for not taking her Quincy training seriously, even after they were nice enough to take her in after her family passed away. Ryukin steps in to settle the dispute, but his mother gets in a quick jab at his father before leaving. Despite the awkward exchange, Masaki appears fine and takes off to her room.
Catch you on the flip side, motherfuckers.
Ryukin speaks with his maid Katagiri about how Masaki was only brought in to maintain the purity of their Quincy blood. He questions whether or not Masaki is fine with marrying him, knowing that's the only reason she's there, to which Katagiri commends his kindness. Returning to Isshin, he attempts to lure out the enemy with his spiritual pressure, and boy does he ever.
Look at it! Oh my god! Holy shit!
A black hollow appears and goes after Isshin, while Masaki feels both of their spiritual pressures. When Ryukin tries to stop her from helping, she ignores him because she could never forgive herself if there was anything she could do to help. Isshin struggles to battle this black hollow as it fights like a Shinigami, but also obliterates another Shinigami with a Sero. No chance in hell such a creature could run amok without alerting anyone. Someone is pulling its strings. Just as Isshin activates his Zanpakuto in Getsu, wouldn't you know it, Aizen secretly slashes him in the back.
Son of a bitch!
With no time to find the traitors, Isshin uses a fire breath technique on the hollow, nicknamed White, ironically enough, and manages to cut off an arm. Masaki finds this to be the appropriate time to intervene, distracting White to come to her and actually getting it to bite down on her, falling right into her trap. Isshin is able to take the brunt of an explosion set off by White self-destructing, leading to Masaki wanting to heal him. Afraid to reveal her true identity at first, she tells him she's a Quincy, and he's totally cool about it. Excited, in fact, to finally meet one. Meanwhile, Tozen bitches about how their experiment picked a Quincy to complete its final phase, but Aizen is excited to see what happens after this change of plans. The episode ends with Uryu randomly standing in the pouring rain as he's approached by Hashwal.
Come with me if you want to live.
My overall thoughts on this episode? Very well done. This mini arc of Everything But the Rain is super important to the series and fans, and its start was handled well. People may have been slightly annoyed when it was alluded to that Ichigo's mom was a Quincy, but the story behind it all helps that information slide down better and not feel like something pulled out of thin air. It begins to clarify some of the questions we've had about Ichigo's powers, his parents' history, and Aizen's involvement, which for all intents and purposes set a chain reaction for Ichigo's existence. Love the confirmation of Isshin being part of the Shiba clan as well as the Squad 10 captain. His interactions with Toshiro and Rangiku were cute and show that he's always been a bit of a goof, but when things get serious, he's willing to put himself in harm's way to protect the people he cares about. We get to see his personality almost coincide with Masaki's, where she's a little silly, but a noble that has a sense of resolve to help and protect. She's just in an environment that doesn't allow her to stray far. Ryukin gets to show off his kind side for once with Masaki, who he just wants to be happy despite her situation of essentially being forced to marry him to continue the purity of the Quincy blood. And Katagiri is just sorta there. She has to establish she is Uryu's mother and reiterate how much she secretly likes Ryukin. That's kind of it. The art and animation are fantastic again. I love the nightlife of Karakura Town, and the rain makes everything seem a bit cooler and more tense, kinda like when Yama died and Ichigo showed up. The battle against White was pretty awesome, showing off the rabidness and brutality of the hollow Shinigami hybrid. I really wanted them to add a bit more of Isshin using Engetsu, but at least we got his fire breath. Masaki's voice actress was perfect, especially on her line delivery before she headshotted White. Made her a sly badass. She and Isshin are super cute together as a true destined couple, and I can't wait to see the continuation of their relationship and how it progressed. Finally, I'll just say the pace was the best it's been in a few episodes. We got quite a bit of info, but all of the characters had room to breathe in their scenes, and the tone never took any dramatic shifts. They cut out some nonsensical moments, i.e. Rangiku's glistening boobage, but gotta trim the fat to focus on the more important aspects surrounding the meeting of Isshin and Masaki. So overall, a great episode. Animation and art continue to be top-notch, the story moved along well to convey the importance of this mini-arc, and a lot of excellent character moments. But what did you guys think? Don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe for more content, and follow my Twitter and Instagram. Links to those are in the description. I hope you all tune in next week for the season finale. Until then, peace.